The Grinch. That was a
Welcome
quote.
back, everyone, to the Awful Takes podcast, episode 58. My name is Nabahi.
Hello, I'm Wallied from Sir Gator Productions.
And this is the show where we have our awful takes on movies and all of that. So if you're here joining us for the first time, get ready for some truly bad takes on a lot of stuff.
Or a take.
Yeah. Normally how we structure our shows, the numbered episodes, is we talk about movie news that we find interesting, and then we jump into our review/recommendations. So if you're here for that, please feel free to skip ahead. We don't have any control over you. So
Move as you please.
do as you please. A little bit of interesting bit of movie news. Something that I know a lot of people in my life are pretty excited about is Christopher Nolan's next movie, The Odyssey. Tickets have been on sale for a couple months now.
That's crazy. Tickets have been on sale because the movie's not even out till like next July. But all
And
right.
we have a first trailer now. I don't believe this is the same footage that was shown in IMAX, the exclusive IMAX footage, because I know Nolan likes to do that with his movies, is he'll show like kind of like a separate trailer before like a big tentpole movie in December. Like I know he did it with The Dark Knight Rises. He did it with Dunkirk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And apparently he did it with
that's
this
cool.
movie. I think there was like a special trailer before Avatar, I think.
Makes sense.
And now this trailer gets released online, giving all of us at home kind of the first look at Christopher Nolan's next movie.
The best way to watch it on your phone.
Yeah. I guess my point of view, I don't love it, to be honest. I think there is something about this production that's just kind of throwing me off for right now with the trailers and everything.
Is it the cast?
It might be the cast. Also, I didn't like some of the costume stuff. Like, there's this guy in like black armor. He looks ridiculous.
Yeah. It looks kind of, I guess, out of place for the more realistic, quote unquote, kind of tone.
Yeah.
The trailer's kind of showing.
That armor for me looks very almost kind of like sci-fi-ish. So I was just like,
Yeah.
wait, what the heck? And then also, like Wally mentioned with the cast, like you see Tom Holland, and that just immediately takes me out.
Yeah. I guess for me, I just found it a little distracting seeing him there. I'm just
Especially
like,
because he looks the exact same in every movie.
yeah, they don't really give him like a new look or anything like that. And granted, he doesn't have any lines in the trailer, but I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I felt like we could have gotten another different actor. And
here's-
same with kind of Matt Damon for me personally
true.
too, you know, because like, again, I like Matt Damon in certain things, but I don't really know how much he'll fit with this.
This is going to be kind of his first big leading role, I would say, in like a little bit. You
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
So
Yeah.
it'll kind of be interesting to see if he can still, have
Pull
it,
that
you know?
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things with Tom Holland is, okay, so I have an expectation with actors of like, they reinvent themselves, they take each role as a new opportunity. And I feel like with Tom Holland, maybe he's not that type of actor. Maybe that's just not what he's going for. Maybe he has his kind of range and he stays within that, which, okay, respect to him. That's cool and everything. But I like it when actors really can just surprise me every time.
And especially like suck you into a role, especially when it's so completely different from like what we're used to also.
Yeah.
And I just haven't really felt that with Tom Holland yet.
Yeah, exactly. I will say the practicality of everything looks great. They're
I
on
can't
that
believe
ship.
they used a real ship. That's insane.
That looks really cool. And then
No, it
also
does, yeah.
the big standout, I think this is the original composition for the movie, is Ludwig's score.
Yeah, it's cool to see him use a different composer because, well, I do like some of the stuff he's done with Hans Zimmer. It
Yeah.
does feel a little samey and repetitive. So it's nice to see him get somebody like fresh for once.
And I think with him, Ludwig has scored, I think he did Oppenheimer, and
He
I'm
did
pretty sure.
the Tenet score.
And Tenet. Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a more recent thing Christopher Nolan's been doing
And
recently.
I feel like he's been doing pretty good to a point where I'm like, this guy is becoming, a composer for me. That's just like, he kind of is going to be on that level for me of like, I'm almost excited just for the score as I am the movie,
Yeah,
Sometimes
for sure.
there are those composers that do that.
John Williams.
Exactly. And I feel like with him, he's kind of like becoming a bigger name for me, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
And it's so great to see him get more like opportunities like this. Cause I remember when I first heard his score in The Mandalorian and I was like, I fell in love with it
Exactly.
immediately.
He did so good. And he really kind of branched outside of what we kind of come to expect with Star Wars, you know? So, yeah, I'm super excited for that. Will say just the trailer didn't really elevate my excitement too much.
Yeah. It's a small trailer too. It's kind of like under 2 minutes anyways. So
yeah. Granted, I'll still probably end up seeing the movie. I just think so far I'm just kind of a little underwhelmed as of yet. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean,
yeah, same. I think it looks okay, but I mean, I definitely would like to kind of see his take on this kind of story, especially because it's going more into that like kind of fantasy, more like olden times direction, you know, and I haven't seen Christopher Nolan do that. So
we'll have to wait and see. We start the countdown timer. Next bit of movie news we have is it's disappointing for me. So I was shown Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV series, when I was like a teenager. I didn't see the original run when it was releasing weekly and all that stuff. I was very late to the franchise. Like I've told you guys before, my brother saw the M. Night Shyamalan movie. And it really inspired him to watch the show.
Hey, every cloud has a silver lining,
exactly.
Right?
And that ended up turning into me watching the show. Became a huge fan of it. Man, it's one of my favorite television shows of all time. And Paramount had announced that they were going to do a continuation of Aang's story, and it was going to be a movie.
Yeah.
It was going to be called Aang: The Last Airbender. It's going to take place when he's, you know, like an adult and everything.
Yeah, kind of between Korra and Avatar. So that's kind of cool because that whole time period is an era that I don't think has been explored all that much in
they
Avatar:
touch
The Last
on it
Airbender. So.
Maybe a tiny bit with some of the graphic novels, but that I would say that's it, especially when it comes to him being an adult. We don't really see too much. So I was very excited for this, and it's still coming out. It hasn't been canceled or anything, but its original release was going to be a theatrical release next year. Paramount, out of nowhere, puts online that, it turns out, you know, we're not going to do a theatrical release. We're just going to do a straight to streaming drop and straight on Paramount Plus, and that's it. And for me, that is just a huge lost opportunity.
It's a big letdown.
Big letdown. For those people who were shouting for Paramount to be the new person running Warner Brothers and, they'll commit to theatrical releases. It's like,
not really.
Here, look at this. Look what just happened. Right. Yeah, so I'm hugely disappointed. Obviously, I'm still excited for the movie. But I don't know. I feel like the Avatar fan base is something that has just grown over the past, 10-ish years.
Especially with COVID and everything too. Exactly. I saw that big spike when Avatar: The Last Airbender came to Netflix. And it was like the biggest thing for like 2 or 3 months.
And it's just a fan base that is so loyal and everything. I don't play Magic the Gathering, but they recently did a collab with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm not gonna be honest, I bought a few packs just to try to get some of the collecting cards and everything.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy, like that they kind of shot themselves in the foot. I'll say, I feel like this could have been really successful. I feel like, and especially again, I know Avatar kind of blurs the line between what people will say is anime and cartoon. For me, I consider it an anime. I know some people don't. I mean,
it has so many anime elements. Like, come on.
Exactly. So I will say, when now this anime, fan base is as big as it is now, I feel like this movie could have been really huge.
Yeah, especially because you have the built-in audience for it. You literally have the demographic for it.
And we're in the early stages now of... Well, now they're going to do another new series. Now they're doing this movie. I feel like this thing's going to eventually become like a Star Wars, something that's generational, something that, the younger kids, they grew up with Avatar, or the older kids grew up with Avatar Aang. Now you have Korra, and now you have this next new Avatar series that they're working on. So I don't know. I just feel like for them to kind of just dismiss it and go straight to streaming. It's just like, come on, like how did that happen?
I wonder what made that decision possible to begin with. I'd really
unless
love
they
to
have an
know.
early run of the film and it's not that good.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could really think of. But even then, like, come on.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I really could have seen it kind of holding a candle to some of the bigger animated movies next year. Granted, maybe not huge, but again, we got to look at what anime is doing right now. Like Demon Slayer is one of the biggest, highest profitable movies this year.
Yeah. That Infinity Castle. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I feel like studios are going to start to recognize that,
Yeah, and realize there's an audience for it that wants to see it in theaters.
Yeah, it's just disappointing. But I mean, I'm still excited for the movie. It's definitely one that I am heavily anticipating. But
yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like, honestly.
I know. I want to see a trailer. I want to see, some type of footage, something.
Because I've been hearing about it for so long, too. And I'm like, we still haven't gotten much info about it.
Exactly. So. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Another bit of movie news that I know Wallied wanted to mention.
Yes. So we got some finally confirmation recently that 28 years later, part 3 is officially happening.
It's greenlit.
Sony officially greenlit it recently, especially with the reception that the Bone Temple's been getting recently, and it's been mostly positive. And so, yeah, it's been mostly exciting and everything. Cillian Murphy is actually in talks to also return as Jim, so it looks like he might not be in this Bone Temple movie, so it might be till part 3 that'll happen. It's so exciting to hear that this is going to finally kind of transform into a trilogy instead of just getting 2 movies and then seeing if we do get that third one. So yeah, how did you feel about this?
I was pretty excited. I really thought they were going to wait until this movie came out and kind of judged based off of box office, things like that. So it's nice to see that they didn't wait for that. They want to take advantage of this movie's upcoming release and just say, you know what, we're committed to this and we're going to make it happen. Because I know things were a little iffy with 28 years later's box office return. I don't know if it technically made money. I'm pretty sure it did, but probably not the amount that they were expecting. So it's nice to see that regardless of the outcome of box office on 28 years later, the Bone Temple, they're kind of jumping on board and being like, you know what, we're going to make this happen. So that's very exciting. I'm very interested to see who's directing it. Is it going to be Danny Boyle returning? Things like that.
Yeah.
I want to find out more about that. I want to see, maybe they get someone completely unknown for the third one. We'll have to wait and see, but that is very, very exciting.
Yeah, become more anticipated with me now, especially now with Bone Temple coming out. It's like my excitement's just more through the roof now with this. So
yeah, it should be really, really something that I'm gonna hopefully enjoy. That's just judging by the trailers and everything, I'm hoping that it can surprise me yet again.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're only like a month away, so it's really cool.
More like a few weeks now. At this point, as we're
insane.
Recording, but
should be pretty exciting.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm so glad they were finally able to get this into a trilogy, just because I really wasn't sure with 28 years later. I was like, maybe this might not turn out as well as they were hoping. So I'm glad they're actually committing to this.
And I don't like it in movies and stuff when there's kind of those big what if questions of like, what if this story was finished all the way through, things like that. I'm glad that this is actually getting told in its entirety.
Yeah. And it'll be exciting to see the main guy's journey, just because, God, that is such a fantastic journey. So.
Definitely. All right. What are we talking about today?
Okay, so it was my turn to recommend a Christmas movie, and I decided to go with quite the movie. It's How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000 by Ron Howard. It's about the Grinch. He doesn't like Christmas, and you're going to see how he stole Christmas. And some other things happen in it, obviously, too. This is a film, like I mentioned when I recommended it. This is a film I watched a lot of as a kid. This was like a big Christmas staple for me growing up. This is one I watched every single year. And yeah, it is quite the film, and it's one of the few times where the live action surprisingly actually works. Sometimes live action I don't really care for a lot of the time. I've mentioned this many times on the podcast before, but this is the one time where I was really shocked. Even rewatching it was like just seeing the sets come together, seeing the costumes, even the makeup. It's like it feels like a world that you could live in. And so that was kind of, I guess, more my experience with it, and I just thought I'd like to recommend this just because, yeah, this is one I've been thinking about recently, and I thought about it more when we discussed Jim Carrey a while back. And Jim Carrey for me was one of my biggest influences growing up. He was one that I just watched obsessively, and especially with this movie, it's like it's so crazy to know it's him in that like makeup and everything, because it's like he's so unrecognizable in the performance, and yet his over-the-top theatricalness of the Grinch is like what makes the film even better than it should be, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I'm excited to get into the stuff that I really love and I really enjoy with the film, and some of the stuff that doesn't really work for me. So, yeah, about you, what is your experience with the Grinch?
So I was like 4 or 5 when this came out. Truth be told, I was absolutely terrified by Jim Carrey as the Grinch.
Really?
Yeah, it really scared me. Seeing the trailers and everything. I still remember it when we were going to see the movie, and I was too scared to watch it that I had to be taken out. And I think the rest of my family ended up watching it. But yeah, it really got to me.
Wow.
And it took quite a few years for me to fully get over that fear and everything.
The movie did its job, then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there was just something about it, man. Like, it just freaked me out. And the opening doesn't help this movie at all. In that case, like, they go up to this mountain and everything, and there's like this jump scare. And,
he makes this weird face, and it's all in slow motion. He's all smiling,
smiling, just absolutely creepy. So it was, I would say, at least a few years after till I actually fully saw this movie.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I've really grown to love this movie. This is one of those few movies where an actor has such a great performance in the movie that it really just kind of carries
makes the movie,
and it makes it. And honestly, like, because again, we're in the day now of live action remakes happening over and over, and most of them, I would say, quite a few of them end up missing the mark quite a bit.
Yeah,
and I think this is one of those rare cases where a live action remake happens and the performance is just so different than what was originally told in the old animated movie and the source material, that it just kind of stands in its own realm.
Yeah.
It doesn't really try to compete with those other things. It's not trying to reinvent them. It's not doing a shot for shot thing.
It's very much its own thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think that is just in huge part to what Jim Carrey brings to the table. And I think there's proof of that because later on when they did Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat.
Oh, yeah.
We get to see the other side of that coin of a performance not being able to carry the movie. I enjoy that movie, but
really?
I enjoy it to a degree. It's again, I would say it's more like a guilty pleasure movie, but
we'll have to talk about it someday then.
It's not this case. Like the performance Mike Myers does and everything.
He looks like he really doesn't want to be there. I'll just say that.
And he looks very uncomfortable in this suit and makeup and everything. Man, if you hold both of these guys together and you watch just both of these performances, you can tell that one of them is just really invested in the role. Even, again, physically invested in the role. Like,
yeah, you could tell Jim Carrey's having a really great time being in this.
And that makes it so unique and it makes it so different because it's like when you're watching this Grinch movie, like, I really can't think of another actor like this who just embodies the character this much, and really just, you can only watch it watching this movie, like you watch the newer animated movie that they came out with.
And it's not very good.
And even the animation in that feels less animated than this guy in this performance, you know.
Yep.
Like that's insane. That's like a crazy statement, but it's so true, you know.
Yeah, and I'll touch on it later on in the discussion for sure, because man, that one, they just missed the mark on that one a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, just right away in the movie, like his introduction is so great, like you mentioned, where you know you get that jump scare at the beginning, and Max's introduction is really funny with that little blowhorn monster thing.
That's great,
you know, and it's just like you can tell so much right away. Like this is the Grinch, you know, this is exactly how the Grinch would be in that story in that early animated movie, but yet. Jim Carrey finds a way where he gets kind of lost in, like, scarily well. Like he gets so lost into the performance of, like, you can tell, like, every scene he's in, he's just amping it up and cranking it up to like 1,000. Like one of my favorite moments is like this whole scene where he gets selected to be like this, like, Christmas winner or whatever, and he's like the judge, and he's doing all these contests and everything, and he's you'd have this crazy montage where people are just shoving food in his mouth, and it's just like
it's funny.
Insane. It's so funny too, and I love the moment where he's doing the little race, and you hear that one song that's in like every early 2000s movie. I swear,
it's so funny.
It's so great, and it's just like it puts you into this kind of fever dream head state that I don't really know how I could explain it, but it just has that kind of quality to it, and like that, like you kind of mentioned, like that early 2000s quality of just, we were in a weird spot with filmmaking at that time. You have these crazy like Dutch angles at certain moments.
The crazy set designs, they look insane.
And it's kind of crazy. It's all mostly practical and everything too, which I think makes the movie better than it already is, you know, and I think has more aged like fine wine with that. Yeah. And then not only that, but like just the stuff with like between the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who, I thought was just really like a great heart of the film, you know, like even with the over the top funny moments, I'm glad like the movie has like a moment to ground itself with that relationship, you know, and I was surprised how kind of far they took it throughout the film. And I thought it was surprisingly really well done, especially that Christmas Where Are You song is really great and honestly kind of got to me a little bit.
I think this movie is a great, you know, kind of story for that kind of inclusiveness, you know. There's people who aren't necessarily like everyone else, you know, and just because of that doesn't mean that they're any different, you know. Like it's just a very shocking lesson to learn in just like this slapstick comedy time capsule of a movie.
Right, I know. Yeah.
Very strange, but you know, by the end of it, you're just like, oh, okay. Like
there's a lot of heart to the film that you're just like not expecting, you know.
And even for me as a young kid being terrified of this character, it was like almost like a life lesson that I had to learn that this guy this guy's not scary, you know? Yeah. And that's just kind of funny to think about. But man, it's quite a story, you know, for this, again, just super over the top movie, like with the way this thing's directed, the set designs, even the makeup on like the Who's and everything is just very odd, very strange.
Yeah. And it's much like the storybook come to life too, honestly. And I'm like, they did a really good job with that, you know, like they didn't really need to do all that. Cause it's like, you see that new Grinch movie, it's like, they don't really put that much effort into the world and everything, you know. With this, they put so much love and care into it. It's like, I love the atmosphere it creates with it. It has this kind of like whimsical, kind of fun, surreal energy to it.
Very early on, you get a sense of what you're going to be watching. It sets it up like the traditional kind of Dr. Seuss story with the narration and everything and all that.
Anthony Hopkins is a great narrator, by the way, and I think it really adds to the overall experience for me personally, because it really, for me, it's like, it feels like he's reading the story to you personally.
So it sets all that up, just very traditional, almost like the book. And then you see Jim Carrey going through the town wearing this disguise, doing really his antics, and then you're almost like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm going to be like. For instance, he breaks something with like this saw, and then he hands it to a kid, and he's like, "Here, take this and run real fast with it. All right, go on, go."
I like the moment where he goes to like the mail, and he's just putting like jury duty and spam in their folder, and he makes this like really goofy sound effect where he's all,
yeah, and immediately you're just like, okay, this, like, that's, if you see that part and if you're taken aback by it, sorry to say, that's probably where a lot of people's enjoyment tends to happen with this movie. And it's so funny. There's so many moments in this where I watch it and I'm like, you know what? I can only get this from Jim Carrey and this movie. I can't get this anywhere else. Like this physicality, like there's a moment in this film and I die laughing every time. And I swear I don't know anyone else who could achieve this, you know, acting wise. And it's not like a groundbreaking moment in film, but I appreciate it so much. It's just like, again, his physicality, like he's trying to scare Sydney because she thinks she's heard all these stories. He's a monster and everything, but she doesn't believe it, you know? So she goes to meet him and to talk to him, and he's trying to lean into like, I'm scary, you know, like you need to leave now. And he has on this white shirt and he like jumps into frame and he's like, you have to get out of here before I kill again. He starts ripping off this shirt and he's just like, and he's just going all crazy. And I laughed so hard each time. Like it had been a while since I had seen it. And here I was like in my 20s watching this movie again. Yeah. And even as a mid 20-year-old, like I still like started laughing. Like it just appealed to like that different side of me, that kid in me. Who
it's that kind of childish humor,
physical humor, and loves just the over the topness. And it's just like, that's insane that it just still breaks down that barrier of even me as an adult. And I was still laughing. Like, yeah.
I think for me too, I think what really showcased that was more like the moments where he's in the layer and he's like creating and inventing like all this stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this guy's like, I was actually thinking about it. I'm like, he's actually a mad scientist if you really think about it.
Very smart. Yeah.
And I love the moment where before Cindy comes in, he has this like big, like, toy monkey, you know, the monkeys that have like the drums out of nowhere. I'm like, it feels kind of out of place, but it also kind of feels in place with the character. Yeah. But it's kind of funny. He's like just hitting his head on like the little symbols. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah. And it's such a hilarious moment. It feels like just like an out of place moment where I'm like, oh yeah, you got me there, you know?
One of my favorite moments too is when he's trying to find what to wear to this Hoomeister festival. Yeah. And he this was like, I guess like an accident. He goes to like the table and rips like this cloth off. Oh yeah. And it turns out that I guess behind the scenes wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, so really? He just improvised him walking back and messing up the table. Oh. And he like pushes everything, all the stuff that was on it. That was funny. Then he's wearing really this cloth in the mirror and he just looks ridiculous.
It's like some kind of dress or whatever. He's all, that's not a dress. It's like a clint or something.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then there's like this yodeler on the mountain just randomly. And he takes him and takes his outfit and everything. And he's wearing it and he's like in the mirror. He's all, ooh, and he's like posing. And then he's all, that's it, I'm not going. And again, like, that's just like, I don't know an actor who could have that much of a success with this role, you know?
No, like really, I said, though, I mean, honestly,
you see the opposite side of the coin in some
with
of the
Mike
other
Myers, because I think that's the only time they've ever done this live action thing, and then they stopped doing it, like pretty much for good, you know. But then Illumination now has their animated Dr. Seuss stuff that I don't really care for, and I don't really think is all that great. But.
And this just works to just such a different degree. You know, I would say it's not too much like the original book and animation. But I think it just provides something that's totally different.
Yeah, it provides its own kind of like different take and I guess kind of modern take when this came out, you know, different spin on it. Because obviously you have like the spirit of Dr. Seuss in there, but you also have like kind of the more modern humor. You have some kind of adult humor in there that some of it works, some of it doesn't. Like one of my favorite moments is when all the babies are getting delivered and everything. Yeah. And you have this
backstory.
Yeah. And the backstory is hilarious. But you have this one who's all, oh, look, our baby came. And he looks at the baby's face. He's all, why does it look like your boss?
It went over my head when I was a kid.
I know, that went over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just picked up on that joke now. I was like, oh, that's actually hilarious.
Even the Jim Carrey's like, you know, voice and everything is just so... It's so fascinating and it's so interesting to like think of like, how did he come up with this?
That voice.
And again, some people will say it's just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. And I guess I could kind of agree to a sense, but I feel like there's a solid performance all the way through. I feel like
it's very consistent.
Yeah,
like I'll just be straight
consistent. It doesn't feel like, you know, all over the place how some of these performances can kind of feel.
Yeah, like the mayor, like as funny as he can be sometimes, some of his performance was just kind of to me. Or one of just that one lady, the wife. I was like, no.
One of my favorite moments. It's just a simple line, he's going to accept the award, and he's like, I'm here to collect some kind of award. And then
he's like, where's my check?
Yeah, and he says, and the child mentioned a check.
He's like, no, I did it.
It's so funny.
That's a funny running gag throughout that whole moment.
Yeah.
He keeps mentioning this check. You're like, oh, we didn't say anything about a check.
It's hilarious. Or like you mentioned with the food, like they're just stuffing all this food, and the guy says, this is not pudding, and then he spits it out. He's like, what is it?
Well, that's not pudding.
And at one point, like he's just like eating food. He's all, come on, is that all you got? And he's just like he's
just stuffing his mouth more.
And it's again, it's some people might say it's just too random, too childlike or whatever, but I feel
like it's a right amount though, especially he's in this like goofy chair. They're all carrying about this chair like he's a king or something.
Yeah, it's so funny. One of the things I like in this movie is this whole backstory with the Grinch and
it's really funny.
This
and it's
story, where he's...
It's also kind of sad too, but also, where were the parents?
Yeah, I know, yeah. It is kind of sad.
Look at that hack job.
Yeah, like he makes this thing for this girl and everything, and he has this moment of embarrassment that, you know, causes him to hate Christmas and all this stuff.
Yeah, which is
and there's a great.
You're 8 years old and you have a beard.
Yeah, and there's a great moment where they're gifting him, and the mayor gives him this razor and everything. And in that moment, you actually kind of feel something. You're like, all right,
damn,
that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I was gonna say PTSD right there.
Yeah,
God.
and it really is just like. It's crazy that you would feel that in this movie. Like, again, with the intro, halfway through the movie, it's going for this whole thing, and then it goes for that emotional note. And it actually works, and it's just like, wow, like that would really piss me off.
Yeah, I like he makes up this reason at the beginning for like why he doesn't want to give the Grinch the award. Yeah, he's all, oh yeah, it's for this reason. Exactly. He makes up in like the book or whatever, book of pool rules.
Yeah,
I will say though, I guess that's kind of where one of my complaints comes in with this is I'm not a big fan. Like, granted, it is kind of a little funny towards the end, but I'm not a big fan of the love triangle in the film. Yeah, it just feels kind of forced and out of place, especially when you see in the backstory, like the Grinch isn't really all that interested in the girl. Like he kind of rolls his eyes, you know, and it's in character with the Grinch, obviously, but I just felt like the romance just didn't really work for me all that much, unfortunately.
One of the other humor moments that I like is he sees these two women who raised him and everything and took him in. Oh, yeah. And his reaction is, you two are still living when he sees them when he's older. Oh, it's so funny.
I know. I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay. I guess they were there the entire time.
That's so funny.
They didn't go look for it.
But yeah, with the love triangle, I will kind of say it does feel a tad bit out of place, but I mean, it's so short. And
exactly.
It really isn't like a focal point of the movie, I would say. It feels more just kind of like a little side plot. You know?
Yeah. And it was kind of funny to see the Grinch get the last laugh. So that's kind of why it wasn't like the biggest complaint for me at the end. So I was like, okay, that's not too bad.
One of the things I want to touch on that I just feel like I would need to air this to just fully, you know, remind people that the people who grew up with this movie were in a different time period. You know, there is actually a large crowd of people who read the book growing up, grew up with that old animated film, and had a really disdain for this movie, had a very awful, you know, feeling about this movie. And in a way, I kind of see what they're talking about. So it's like, imagine an animated classic is getting remade and they select some guy from comedy to be in the main role, you know, that really this new movie is touching on things that were just not ever in the original source material or anything, you know, like the Dr. Seuss book is it's a kid's book, you know?
Yeah.
And here this movie is making references, you know, being over the top. It's rated PG. And,
and it has a lot of adult humor, surprisingly.
And figure, like, a lot of people were actually very upset about that and very just like, what the hell is this, you know? So I'm trying to think of like a classic right now or like an animated movie and just like imagine in today's day and age, oh, we're doing a live action thing. Oh, we're going to pull this guy from comedy. We're going to pull Kevin Hart to play the main character.
God. Yeah.
And that's kind of what this was like when this movie was coming out, and people were very upset about it. And there's a large crowd who really don't like this movie at all. And they're like,
and that's completely understandable.
And they're like, this is not a classic. This is not this. And it's so funny because it's like, you know, the people who grew up, you know, who are younger, it's like
I was,
they think this is a really good movie, and they think this is their version of the Grinch, you know, and for some other people that is just not the case. And I just felt the need to mention it because I'm like, that's very true. I'm like, you know what? If that were to happen today, I'm like, I guarantee there'd be a lot of people who'd be very upset by it. And there's some people I know who just outright dismiss this movie, and it's just like, it's unfortunate, but I kind of understand what they're saying. Yeah,
especially if they did grow up on that book, like you mentioned, or they did see that animated movie a lot. Like it's completely understandable, you know, and especially just because, again, this is filmed so weirdly.
Yeah.
It's very
unrecognizable.
It is very unrecognizable, but that's kind of the charm of why I do like it, is that it is very over the top. It is very in your face. But even with that, it does have those moments where it does ground itself, and it does have those heartwarming moments, you know.
And I think part of it is seeing this first, you know, this is something that,
I don't know how I would have felt if maybe I didn't see this first.
I think I read the book before I saw the movie. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure when I was very young. But again, like, this was kind of my first iteration with, you know, the Grinch character and everything. So,
yeah, same.
Yeah. I didn't have too much of an issue with it. But yeah, it's crazy to think that how old this movie is. It's like,
25 years.
This is not the original version. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's kind of insane.
Yeah. And it's crazy how much it's grown in the last 10, 15 years.
And especially now, again, with live action adaptations being as popular as they are, this was kind of one of the earlier ones that, you know, people still think very fondly of, you know? So I think that's one of the things that I think people should come to grips with in terms of live action adaptations is, you know,
this could be somebody's introduction.
Could be the movie for some young kid out there. This could be the adaptation, you know, kind of like Us with the Grinch, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very insane.
Just overall, I mean, just the ending too was just such a nice, like, cherry on top to the movie. You know? I like the moment where they show like his heart growing in 3 sizes. It's kind of funny. And then just hearing Anthony Hopkins narrating that part was really funny. Yeah. And then just seeing him like carry the, you know, obviously they have it in the book, but, you know, he carries the sleigh on his, with like his 2 hands and everything. It's Cindy Lou who's on the, she's on the sleigh, and it's like, you know, it's like, that was such a nice, like, heartwarming detail, you know, hearing all of them sing, you know, and you can hear it all the way from the mountains. So that was like such a great moment for me that really added a lot to my experience with this. And
I like the message with the dad and him with the mayor and everything. Saying,
I liked the dad standing up for her finally. Cause you know, throughout the whole movie, he's just kind of like negligent, you know? So it's like, it's nice to see him actually like caring about his kid for once.
That was a good moment. Yeah. And to tell them, you know, like, that's not what Christmas is about. You know, it's, you know, as long as I have my family, you know, you can't destroy Christmas. And I'm like, huh, that's actually a pretty good message.
Yeah. Know? And they surprisingly portray it in a pretty solid way. You know? Yeah. I definitely think a message we need more now than ever. Yeah. You know, honestly,
there's so many moments in it when I'm watching this thing that I'm like, this couldn't be done like with any other actor. This guy literally saw the assignment and just was like, I'm going to elevate that as much as I can. Yeah. There's just so many moments in this. And again, it's a comedy role, but I've just never seen someone, you know, it really is there. It's sometimes just those comedy roles where I'm like, this is just so specific to this person. This is so unique that it ends up just being something that I just feel like can't be replicated. Like, there's just so many moments in it. Like, when he makes the sled and it's like flying, and they're about to take off, and Jim Carrey, as the Grinch, he's just standing on it. He's like shaking in like this over the top way. Yeah. I'm watching that. I'm like, no one else could really do this. Like, this is kind of
or he does or there's like a moment where he does this like crash test, and it's like a crash test dummy.
So,
I'm like, yeah, you couldn't do that today. I definitely
and there's
don't
just
think anybody
so many
could pull that
moments
off.
where I'm like, Jim Carrey just took this and just ran with it, down to the way he walks, down to the way
it's a very physical performance too, and it's like you
incredible.
can tell, like,
it is
just
incredible.
watching it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even like you're that's why I, like, as a kid I was like, I didn't know that was Jim Carrey for the longest time, because I'm like, he does such a fantastic job with it.
I feel like in those moments, that's where it breaks the mold of like, you know what, this is just, I'm literally watching someone completely just lose themselves in
the
this
role.
thing. Yeah,
like,
and it's
literally.
just like, this is them, and it's just like, rarely do I feel that in terms of, sometimes in emotional roles, but I guess when it comes to comedy, it's just different, because I'm just like, the way he's acting in this is just at times just so ridiculous, but it's just so entertaining.
Yeah, and
so
especially in
enjoyable.
all that makeup too, and all that hair and everything. Like, I mean, like you mentioned with the Cat in the Hat thing, like, it's such a hard thing to pull off.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah. Overall, I mean, was there anything else you wanted to kind of say or add with this?
Not really. I mean, it still holds up for me. So when every time, every Christmas when I end up watching this thing, I just still laugh. I still have enjoyable moments. Like I mentioned, it just appeals to that different side of me. Like, watching this again and finding myself legitimately laughing at parts, like, that's just crazy to think about. Where it's like, some movies don't age like that. Some movies I have humor with, and I'm just like, that's not as funny as I thought it was, Yeah. But with this,
we all have those.
It appeals to the kid in me of just like being someone who's crazy, someone who's acting in a weird way is just, man, that's entertaining. Yeah. It's a really enjoyable movie.
Nice. Yeah, for me, this is one that I was surprised still holds up, and especially considering it's a childhood favorite of mine, especially during the Christmas season. It's like, man, there's still just so many great, over the top, hilarious moments. I'm pretty sure this is where my sense of humor stems from, is probably this movie.
Nice.
Probably. I have no idea. But yeah, man, I mean, just seeing, obviously Jim Carrey's performance is the highlight of this film. He just steals the show in every scene he's in. Yeah. And again, even that relationship and friendship between him and Cindy Lou Who was just like a nice way to ground and really give the more heartwarming side of the film, that you really didn't need, but it really does make the film a lot more enjoyable for me personally. And yeah, I mean, again, like, just the world feels so lived in, the atmosphere it creates with Christmas. Like, you really do feel the Christmas spirit with this film, at least for me personally. And man, it does such a fantastic job with that, with the makeup, with the sets, and with the costumes, even like the little cars and everything, it's just like, wow, they put so much love and care into this. And man, it just does such a great job with them. And there's so many moments where I'm just laughing out loud, with just the antics the Grinch does throughout this. I will just say just a few of my minor little complaints, just being that love triangle just felt like, and then I'll just say just some of the CGI does feel a little dated at certain points, where it does feel a little noticeable. Really enjoy this film. I have such a blast watching it. Score wise for me, I'd probably say I'm at like a 7.5 out of 10 for me personally.
Nice. I share a lot of that sentiment. I mean, again, this is one of those defining kind of childhood movies of like, this could shape a lot of your humor and everything. Yeah. Especially me as like a younger kid, being, someone who, I have ADHD. So sometimes I'm very eccentric with the way, my humor is and everything, and seeing like an adult kind of act the same way, was really cool. Yeah. And it just holds up for me upon rewatch. There's so many funny moments. It certainly takes a lot of swings, especially in terms of the look, the set designs, the camera work,
especially the humor too,
the makeup. Like, again, some people, me as a young kid, I was really terrified of what I was watching.
Yeah, I could see that scaring a lot of kids.
And even some of the Who faces, like, man,
they look uncanny.
They look very kind of creepy sometimes. But man, this movie just for me really holds up, and it's just no matter what, it's just so enjoyable. And again, it's one of those few kind of roles where you just can't picture anyone doing this, and especially to that same success. Something about this, when it comes down to comedy and everything and a performance, I feel like you can just get the most eccentric, the most out there kind of performance, even when it comes down to between this and some emotional heavy role. I swear, I feel like I feel more of a potentness when it comes to acting from something that is so eccentric and over the top. Like that's just, to me, just like on another level compared to, you know, an actor who cries or does something like that.
Especially because it's just another layer that you're not really expecting from that actor too.
It's insane. Like I mentioned, there's just moments when you watch this movie and you see Jim Carrey, you're just like, he's lost in this thing. He is just absolutely lost in this role.
Grinch.
He is so invested.
He's literally.
One of the facts I've heard behind the scenes is that he had a really hard time wearing this kind of thing. And
I heard about that recently too.
Apparently he had to undergo like this training that the CIA does to endure like torture or something, like the mindset you have to put yourself in. I think that's what he had to do to kind of get through this performance, because he was very, very uncomfortable wearing this thing. But man, you don't see it at all in the movie.
You don't. I wonder if that's how Mike Myers felt.
Honestly, I feel like that's how he felt. We'll have to talk about that movie at some point.
No, we will for sure. Yeah. Oh my God, that one's more of a fever dream than this movie. But yeah.
This is again one of my favorite Christmas movies. One of my favorite performances in movies. It's just so entertaining and very unique to its time, and for people now who have these hard times with live action adaptations and everything, you know, there are successes. There are times where people, you know, kind of say, you know what, I actually like this. Maybe not to the same degree as the original or something,
of course,
but it can offer something different. So I just want people to kind of keep that in mind when they watch this movie, is like, there are actually people who really enjoy this more than the original. And I know nowadays it's like you have the original and then live action adaptations all the way at the bottom.
It's very divided for sure. Of course.
So it's like, well, just remember, you know, at one point you kind of grew up with this, you know? So I think score wise, I'm at like an 8 out of 10. I really like this movie.
Nice, man.
Very enjoyable.
And then I guess I'll touch briefly on the Grinch film. So they did do another Grinch movie, and it's not very good. The animation, it's from Illumination, so it has that kind of cheap animation quality to it.
God.
And Pharrell Williams actually narrates the movie, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not very good. And I usually like Pharrell as a producer. I think he's a great producer, but narration... not so much.
You're very good at defining music and music culture, but stay away from narration.
And they got Benedict Cumberbatch to do the voice of the Grinch, and he does this weird like voice thing in the movie that just doesn't really work, and it feels kind of more like creepy, not in a good way, and not really as fun or over the top as this movie. And then like it's just kind of like he learns it's weird because he learns the lesson in the middle of the movie, and so when he gets to learn the lesson, the quote unquote lesson at the end, it's like, oh, it doesn't feel really that earned at all or anything.
Okay.
And there's not even really like, he doesn't even really have like a dynamic with Cindy Lou Who or anything like that.
I will say, when it comes to that movie and the, you know, animation and everything, I will say compared to some of the other Illumination movies, that one just looked so flat to me and kind of lifeless. Flat. Like I was just like, I just feel like I'm watching like the most bare minimum effort put into like animation. It just really didn't stand out to me. Even like, again, with the humor and everything, like I feel like it's less animated as this movie, you know?
It
it's just
very
like,
much is.
How does a guy in a costume become more over the top and crazy and zany than an actual animated character.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. That just it baffled me watching that movie. I was just like,
yeah, and that was one of my biggest problems was with that movie. Was that like no, there was just no life to anything. It felt just kind of soulless, you know.
Yeah.
But I will say the only okay thing was Tyler the creator did, and maybe it's just the super fan in me talking, but he did some music for the movie.
Oh
he
yeah, that's right.
Released like an EP of it between like Flower Boy and Igor. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's
you know?
right.
But yeah, that's it. All right. So what do you got for next time?
Dang. All right. So this is not a Christmas movie. However, this is very synonymous with me in the Christmas time. I've talked about this movie on this show before. And you know what? I felt like there was just no better time than to bring this movie up and its legacy and everything. Again, when I watch this movie, I do kind of just think back to a time in my life where I was just the most avid fan and I was the most avid, supporter. And I was just lost in the commercialism of franchise movie making. So the movie I'm going to recommend, we're going to kind of get into kind of a deep discussion, at least for me with this movie, especially in terms of where we kind of think about it now. I'm going to recommend Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Came out 10 years ago now.
I mean, it did come out in December, so I guess it's kind of a Christmas time movie.
Yeah, I guess I would say I'm more just trying to kind of recollect, especially now being 10 years out. I'm in a different place with this movie, especially now where the sequels are and everything. And just now even talking about where Star Wars is and how they can't seem to get it off the ground.
Don't even get me started on that Steven Soderbergh project we talked about.
So we have a lot. I have a lot to talk about with this movie. And I know I've mentioned it before, and some people will definitely talk about it now, is there was just a different kind of hype to this movie.
Yeah.
And there were so many people who were excited. It was insane. It was like unlike anything I'd ever seen of just Star Wars coming back into the pop culture sphere and in a big, big way. Like there's just so many people talking about this movie. And then obviously in the year following, just the amount of hype of where does this story go? Yeah. And then just seeing that thing just turn the moment that sequel comes out, it just stopped all excitement and the fan base imploded on itself. And you just had this biggest divide. And now it's just like, there's no enjoyment. There's no enjoyment when you talk about Star Wars now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Back then, there was a very sincere enjoyment. There was just, fans just being fans,
I remember this being my reintroduction too, because I grew up with the prequel trilogy as a kid.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the trailer for this film, it was like my dad and I, we both saw it. Our minds were blown when we saw that trailer. And so when we went to I remember I remember it like yesterday, man. It's like, I remember going to see this movie in like theaters when it came out, and just like the biggest crowd of, that's probably the biggest crowd of people I've ever had an experience with at the theaters. And I remember I remember really enjoying that movie. And then, but I'll be straight up, I have actually not seen this movie in like 9 years. I haven't seen it since 2016. And obviously now seeing The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, I'm actually kind of interested to see how this will be on a rewatch. Now kind of seeing how this trilogy unfolded out. So this will be kind of an interesting revisit. I haven't seen this movie in such a long time.
So my apologies to everyone. We're going to have to end the Christmas season just a little bit early. I know we only got over a few of them, but I was like, you know what? We're 10 years out. Like, this is just something that I feel like.
It's so crazy to think it's been 10 years too. Oh my God.
Me, again, I've mentioned so much how big Star Wars is in my life and everything.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's taken so long for us to talk about this.
It's kind of crazy that we're going to start with this one.
I mean, we got to start somewhere with this, right?
Yeah. So I apologize in advance. This might be like a longer upcoming episode, but
it'll be our first J.J. Abrams discussion too. Oh my God. I
have a lot to say when it comes to this movie. And again, at one point, this was just the biggest moment in my life. This was just, again, absolutely crazy. I was so heavily anticipating this movie, and there were so many people that were anticipating this movie. And
and it's crazy. It's not even talked about as much anymore.
Yeah, now it's just like
it's like it doesn't
like
even
the start
exist.
of the downfall. Like people just look back at this movie and it's just like, oh yep, this is where it all went wrong.
Yeah. I remember seeing a comment on YouTube once for the teaser trailer recently, and it was all, this is like seeing like home video of your parents before they divorced.
That's actually really a good way to describe it.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully you
Force
guys
Awakens.
join us on the next one.
We will be awakened next episode is what Nabahi is saying.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be quite the discussion. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah. Happy holidays again, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve to anybody who celebrates, and good day and good night, mates.
We'll see you on the next one.